What's going on, everybody? My name is Aiden and welcome back to another video. Ladies and gentlemen, I know we've been talking a lot of negatives in relation to the Chicago Bulls, especially recently with situations in restricted free agency. I did do recently a front office video as well, so discussing how they've kind of let us down in many ways and how they ranked dead last from a ranking in terms of NBA GMs. All that being said, I want to talk about something that hopefully can spark a little bit of hope with the Chicago Bulls, and he's a fellow Australian. It's not Josh Giddey, it's Lachlan Olbrich. I want to talk about him, and I want to talk about what it's going to take for him to make it to the NBA. At the end of the day, I haven't really given him much attention in relation to videos and whatnot. I talked about Noah Asenge a bunch. I talked about guys like Kamawara a bunch, but Lachlan Olbrich, in my opinion, had a relatively good summer league as well. He did all the basics right. He showed that he has essential skills, in my opinion, to be able to make it in terms of the NBA. What is it going to take for him to get there, to truly get there and be a mainstay in the NBA? Because we know second round talents, and especially centers with the Bulls in the second round, they don't necessarily last very long. So what is it going to take? Let's talk about it. Before we get any further, if you like the video and you want to see more from me, drop a like, drop a follow, and or subscribe if you are new. And let me know what you guys think about Lachlan Olbrich and the future that he could have in the NBA. Do you think it's going to be a good one? Do you think it's going to be a bad one? Do you think it's going to be a long-lasting future in the NBA? Or do you think, very similar to guys like Adama Sanogu and Marko Simonovic, that he's eventually going to fall to the wayside and he's not going to have a great future with the Chicago Bulls? So I mentioned he had a positive summer league. Well, what did he do right in the summer league that really allowed us to kind of give him this sort of video, as well as give us some hope that he can make it with the Chicago Bulls? Well, I think the first thing he does really well is the basics. And this is what I like about Australian players for the most part. They tend to learn the basics well, the fundamentals of the game. You know, there are Australians that are very flashy. I think Ben Simmons is a very flashy player, terrific playmaker. Josh Giddey is a flashy player, but they both know the basics as well. Josh Giddey's very much a fundamentals guy. If you watch him play, it's not all flashy behind the back, no look passes. It's fundamental plays. It's being able to make the right decision off of a pick and roll. It's being able to finish around the rim when a defender kind of cheats on the pick and roll and all these things. It's basic fundamental basketball. He plays that really well, and I think Lachlan Olbrich as a center plays the fundamentals well. He's able to pass in the post, which I think is a big thing with this Bulls team, because this is what I believe Nikola Vucevic, why he is very important for the Bulls, because I don't necessarily know if Lachlan Olbrich's post presence will be anywhere near the level of Nikola Vucevic's per se, but Vucevic when he's in the post, there could be double teams thrown at him. There could be, I guess, players really focusing in that post presence. So being able to pass out from the post is a very basic fundamental thing for a center, but not many centers do that effectively at the NBA level. So seeing him being able to do something like that, if he can get a couple of post touches with the Chicago Bulls, I trust him to make the right play. The second thing I really think he brings to the table is physicality. Now, he's not necessarily a tall center, ladies and gentlemen. He's not the tallest guy you'll ever see, but there are a lot of centers in this league today that are not the biggest height-wise, but what they make up for it is in their physicality. You know, I guess the best example, this is the most obvious example. I'm not comparing Lachlan Olbrich to this player, but Draymond Green is someone that always comes to mind. This guy has said in the past he's 6'5". Now, he looks a little bit taller than that when you see him play, but he's a shorter guy. He's a small ball guy. He doesn't always play center as well, but there were a couple of seasons where he did play as that small ball center, stretching the floor for the Warriors. But he never really felt like he was out of it physically. You never really saw Draymond Green truly get dominated physically. You know, when he faced guys like Dwight Howard, he faced guys like Steven Adams, and I mean, sometimes there was some dirty plays in there, sure, but he wasn't dominated completely as a small ball center. And even if you go to the route of Kevon Looney as well, who's around 6'9", if I'm not mistaken, very similar size to Lachlan Olbrich, small ball center, can get the job done, knows what he's doing, and he plays really, really well. So, you know, like Lachlan Olbrich, he can fit that type of mold. Clint Capella is not a tall center. I mean, I think he's 6'10", maybe, but he has made his name in the NBA based on his ability to rim protect, rebound, and show physicality as a center. So Lachlan Olbrich, in my opinion, having a physical force is going to be a positive. We mentioned his post play in terms of passing, but there's also his ability to make the right decisions in a pick and roll as well, whether when it comes to maybe passing to a cutter or maybe when it's diving to the rim himself. He doesn't take bad shots. He doesn't take terrible shots. He's a very relatively good IQ player. These are all positives, right? So the way that I'm talking about him, you might think I think he's a shoo-in to make it into the NBA. Well, I will say I really, really have high hopes in Lachlan Olbrich eventually making it to the Chicago Bulls as a backup center in the future. I'm not going to say straight away, but in the future. Because I just feel like fundamentally he is capable enough. And I think with centers, you need the fundamentals first before you get to the, I guess, the elite sort of things, you know, like the isolation, pick and pop 3-ball, or the, you know, the Joel Embiid situation where you can constantly get fouls to get to the free throw line, or you're Jokic and you're playing point center. You know, those things are the extremes, and not many centers can do those things. But having the fundamentals is very important, and I can see that eventually getting him a role in the NBA as maybe a backup player, as a backup center. We'll see. You never know. But it's not guaranteed. And the reason why is we've had history of this. I still think Adama Sanogo should be a Chicago Bulls player. I've said that numerous times. But one injury took him out of the Chicago Bulls team, and he hasn't been back. I think he played for a summer league team. Maybe he's in another team elsewhere. I'm not entirely sure. But, you know, he didn't last with the Bulls. Marko Simonovic had one of the best summer leagues I have seen from a big man on this Bulls team. And he didn't last long either. So we have history on our side that shows that big men in this team don't last very long. Especially when you're looking into the second round and you are looking into, I guess, undrafted territories, which is what we've done here with Lachlan Olbrich. We selected him in the second round. I hope this player will be different. I hope there is a chance that he can make it into this NBA team. And I'll tell you this much. I feel more optimistic about Lachlan Olbrich than those two guys I just mentioned, but also we're living in the present and I'm talking about the past. Of course, I'm going to feel a little bit more optimistic this time around. I hope the Bulls know what they're doing here, and I hope they selected a player in Lachlan Olbrich who I think we have done because of the work ethic that he's going to bring to the table. And that is something that is going to be undisputed. He's going to try really hard to make it into the NBA. I hope he can get it done. And for all of Australia, we'll be rooting for you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be rooting for Lachlan Olbrich. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care. And peace.